Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nick Bankhead and I'm an incoming dental student at the University of Utah School of Dentistry. Rocking the hat today, got to represent. And today we're going to be talking about choosing the right dental school, tips for applicants. So if you're unsure of which dental schools to apply to, or when the time comes, which acceptance to choose, hopefully this video will help you answer that question or a few of your other questions. So stick around and we'll get to a few good things here. One of the big things I want to talk about, and it's my first point here, is do your research on the schools. I would highly recommend looking at each school's website and start making a list for which school interests you, or the schools that interest you. And that way you can start building out a list for schools you're going to consider applying to. One of the big things I would consider is the location of the school. How close is it to family? Or do you want that support system around you during dental school? Do you want to go out and start your own exciting adventure across the country? This is all personal preference, but location is something you want to enjoy where you live. So location is really important. The next thing is your clinical population. How many patients are you going to have as a D3 and D4 student treating patients in clinic? A good way to see that is going on the school's websites or asking them directly. You can talk to current students and faculty and get those numbers. You're going to want to know how busy you're going to be during those last 2 years of dental school and your clinical years. You're going to want to have a good patient population. And also, it's important to consider, are you willing to recruit your own patients, or do you want the school to provide patients for you? That's something that may be personal preference. So I would consider on what fits you better. Do you want to recruit people, or do you want those to be provided? For those things, I would talk to the current students and faculty, like I mentioned before. Current students, I would highly recommend and emphasize them in particular, because they're going to give you an unbiased and honest representation of the school, and they can help you also see if the school is going to be a good fit for you. If you're talking to current students and you see yourself in the class with them, that's a really good sign that the school is a good personality fit for you. And so you may want to look further into that school. One thing to consider is, would you like to be graded on a traditional letter grade system or a pass fail? Now, this is also kind of personal preference. I chose a traditional letter grading system. I think that personally that's important to me. I want to work hard and get rewarded with a good grade. Fingers crossed. And it's also important to consider, do you want to be in a ranked or an unranked environment? In an unranked environment, it may foster a little more collaboration. And I've heard people say in a ranked environment, you may have a better chance of landing into a specialty residency if you have a high rank. So a lot of these things are personality and character driven, as you might have noticed. And you'll start to get a feel for that as you're researching into each of these programs. Does the dental school have specialties on site, or is there specialty rotations that this school has collaborations with, maybe local practices? So ask about rotations, if they're specialists, what kind of the faculty they have on campus. These are important things to consider to make sure you have the resources available to you, the faculty available to you, so that you can learn as much as you can and that you can be exposed to as much of dentistry as possible. Also, student resources available is really important. Is there a local YMCA? Is there childcare? Is there campus housing? These are all things that start to become a little more real when you're considering living and being somewhere for 3 or 4 years. So be sure to look on the school's websites and to ask about these things specifically. A lot of the times, the students will be a really great place to help you get information on student resources. Some of the more important ones that I would consider are these days are, mental health. Is the school an advocate for great mental health on campus? What would they do if a student starts to fall behind or fails a test, and etc. And that way you can get a feel for, okay, how supported am I going to be by this program if I were to get in? One of the things to also consider is the class size. Do you want to be in a small class size or a large class size? That's personal preference. Me personally, I'd rather be in a smaller class size. I want to know everyone's name and get to know them on an individual level. Also, having a strong alumni network is going to be really helpful. So I would recommend looking at schools and looking into their alumni networks and see what's available. Does the school have a good reputation among alumni? Do the alumni help each other out? And that's something that that's important, especially if, say, you're a first generation dentist and you don't have any connections in dentistry. Having a strong alumni network can be really crucial in even landing a job after dental school. This is a really big one. These are two big ones right here I left at the end. Look at the school's mission statement and read it and see if it fits with your core values as a person. You're going to know by reading it. If you are interested in research and a school is research heavy and they have research in their mission statement, then maybe that school is a good fit for you. Maybe they're very service driven and they want to help the underserved populations in your local community. That's something that really inspired me with my school I chose. And so look at the school's mission statement and see if it reflects on you and your core values can match up. This is one of the big ones, is the feeling. The feeling you get in the school, around the students, around the faculty, when you're there on interview day, is something that only you can experience, only you can describe, only you can articulate. And so I'm not even going to really try to explain it too well or too much. The best way I can, though, is you're going to know, right? Just like you're on a date with someone, you're going to know if they're a good fit for you. You're going to know if the school and you are a good match. And so really trust your gut and go with your gut feeling on this. If you don't know where to start, and that's okay if you don't, here's a few. I just wrote down a few great resources to check out. ADIA is a great place to start. Look at the school's websites. There's tons of great YouTube videos by pre-dental students, dental students, and faculty, and some schools make videos. Also, I would highly recommend joining the dental school and pre-dental subreddits. If you don't know what Reddit is, it's an app on your phone or a website on the computer, and it's like an online forum where you can you can ask questions, you can look at questions people have asked and see answers to those questions. It can be a great way to help answer some of the more common questions that you're going to experience. And so I highly recommend joining those things. And also trying to get in contact with current students and recent graduates is another great way to get information on these programs, typically a little more truthfully, because no one's going to be more honest than a student within a program. So I highly recommend talking to them specifically. Now, the big three I put in a box up here because I believe these are the three most important things when choosing a dental school. And those things are, number one, the cost, number two, GPA and DAT scores, and number three, the fit. I probably shouldn't have numbered those because these are kind of interchangeable, but you're going to want to make sure that you're willing to take on the amount of debt that school is going to put you under. Now, some schools are more expensive than others, and it's super important to be financially as responsible as you can during this time of your life, because one day you will have to pay back that debt. And so I'm just looking out for you. I would recommend going to the cheapest school you get into that also aligns with the fit of you, your personality, maybe with the mission statement, you got the right feelings in the interview, and that you fall into the right range with the GPA and DAT of that school. Now, to get more into the GPA and DAT and why I wrote that up here is you have to be realistic with your statistics on the schools you're applying to. Now, if you're applying to a very, very competitive school that has very high GPA and DAT statistics, now I'm not going to name the schools, but you can probably think of some elite level dental schools that would have a higher averages. If you're on the lower end, say you have just above a 3.0 and an 18 or 19 on the DAT, I would highly consider looking at other dental schools because you want to make sure your application gets seen. You're going to want to make sure that you're a competitive applicant for the schools you're applying to. And so try to apply to schools that, you can apply to a few reach schools, a few schools that are right around your statistics, and then a few schools that you would be an excellent applicant statistically applying to. I think that's a great way to cover your bases. You're casting a wide net, and that way you make sure you're getting into dental school. What a really big thing though is the fit. Like I can't stress this enough. You're going to want to like where you're going. You're going to want to mesh personality wise with the students, with the faculty. So please make sure that you had that feeling during your interview or during like a pre-dental day or information day that you know in your heart that this school is going to work out well for you. Um, Choosing the right dental school can be a stressful process, especially if you have multiple acceptances. So if that's the case for you, congratulations. You have your choice. I would consider all of these things when choosing dental schools to either apply to or to accept. And that's all I have for this video. I'm going to take a few quick seconds here to explain the reason why I chose the school I'm attending, the University of Utah School of Dentistry. I chose this school because when I read the mission statement of the school to serve the underserved, that's exactly what I want to do in my dental career as a dental assistant. I was sad to have to see patients leave our office without getting care that were on Medicare and Medicaid. And I love that this school in particular emphasizes treating the underserved, getting those people on Medicare and Medicaid, getting them treatment when they otherwise would get turned away from most offices. Also, clinical and academic excellence are important to me, and the school very much emphasizes that as well. It has all the resources on campus that I wanted, including a pathways program that allows you to uh, say you're interested in periodontics or pediatric dentistry, you can take almost like an honors course in that specific specialty, and they get an additional certification, like an honor certificate upon graduation if you complete the pathway. Now, I really like that they don't shy away from students interested in specializing, as well as give the students all of the opportunity and all of the networking and resources available to really help students succeed and deliver the best quality care to those underserved patient populations. It so happened that this school also was an in-state school for me, and so it was the cheapest school financially for me to go to. The fit, like I mentioned, was exactly what I was looking for, and so those are the reasons why I chose the University of Utah. You're going to have your reasons for choosing your said school. They may go beyond this list, they may fall into this list, but I hope that this video could give you a little insight on which dental school to choose. So that's all I have for you today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.